Here we're going to look at multiplying and dividing numbers written in scientific notation. Here's our problem. It says to calculate, and we've got negative 2 times 10 to the negative 8th times negative 1.6 times 10 to the negative 6, and our answer has to be in scientific notation. Okay, so how do we go about it? Well, let's read very carefully the explanation. We can group leading numbers. Hey, we know about grouping, don't we? Yeah, that's pretty nice. Let's check it out. If we take these leading numbers, the negative 2 and the negative 1.6 right here, we can group them, put those together. Then we can take the exponent or the powers of 10 here, and we can group those. And then we can simplify each of those individually. We know how to do negative 2 times negative 1.6. That's a positive 3.2. Then, using our exponent rules that we know that 10 to the negative 8th times 10 to the negative 6th, that's going to be 10 to the negative 8 plus negative 6, which is 10 to the negative 14. And so we get our answer right here, 3.2 times 10 to the negative 14. Now notice that this number 3.2 is okay for scientific notation, because remember, scientific notation means that we can only have one number in front of the decimal. But what if this isn't the case? Let's take a look at an example that may be a little bit different. So here's another one, kind of similar but different. We've got 3 times 10 to the 8th times 4 to the negative 2nd. So again, if we group it together, we have 3 times 4, that makes 12. Then 10 to the 8th times 10 to the negative 2nd, that makes 10 to the 6th. Check it out. We got a problem here. 12 times 10 to the 6th is not in scientific notation because 12 is not between 1 and 10, or in other words, it's not a single digit followed by a decimal point. So what do we have to do? We got to take a look at how to change 12 times 10 to the 6th to scientific notation. Well, we know that we have to put a decimal point after that 1. So if we put it in, that means that we'd have to multiply by an extra 10, right? Because if we just take the 12 alone, that's the same as 1.2 times 10, or 10 to the first, same thing. So notice, that's all we've done is replace the 12 with a 1.2 times 10 to the first. And then of course we can't forget about our 10 to the 6th power from before. So using our power rule, 10 to the 1st times 10 to the 6th, we add them up and get our final answer. Okay, now that's a multiplication problem. Actually, that's a couple of multiplication problems. Here's our original one. Here's another example. Now what if we have a division problem? Because it does say multiplying and dividing, or in this case, or dividing. So we've got a division problem. Negative 6.36 times 10 to the 4th divided by 2 times 10 to the 13th. So once again, very similar process. We're going to group them together. So we can take a look at the whole numbers and we can group them. Then we can take a look at the powers of 10 and we can group those. And those make two little mini problems that aren't too hard. We could do this. Negative 6.36 divided by 2, it's negative 3.18. Using our power rule, we know that 10 to the 4th divided by 10 to the 13th, we got more on the bottom, right? So we could rewrite that as 10 to the 4th over 10 to the 4th times 10 to the 9th, so that these two cancel each other out, and we're left with 10 to the 9th on the bottom of a denominator. So remember, 10 to the 9th on the 1 over 10 to the 9th, That's exactly the same thing as 10 to the negative ninth. So that's just a very important rule to understand. Okay, when we put that all together, we get our final answer right here. Negative 3.18 times 10 to the negative ninth.